So like we've done this before.
Yeah.
So again, just briefly introduce yourself.
Perfect.
As if someone has not met you before. Name,
great.
how long you've been an agent, and then how long you've been here.
Great. My name's Libby Bramlett, and I have been a realtor and only ever with Keller Williams Atlanta North. This is my 10th year, so this coming December. So I just celebrated 9 years, entering into my 10th year as a realtor and here at Keller Williams.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
I know that you're also a member of the ALC.
Yes.
So how does that role fit into your business today?
Yeah, I had to take a couple-year break just because 3 kids is a lot of children. But I'm excited to step back onto it this year just because I know our office has given me so much that I really wanted to try to be able to give back and have a little bit of influence, but also just how do we just continue to make this a great place to be for agents?
That's amazing. So, you've said, making this a great place for agents, and I know that you're an individual agent, a successful one.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate it.
So what do you think has contributed most to your growth over the years?
Oh, man, different things, but I would say for me, and like starting at like ground zero, because when I moved to Atlanta right before becoming an agent. So I didn't have a network, I didn't have a sphere, I really started from nothing, and I'd never been an agent before. So there's been a lot of things that have helped me grow, but I think over the years, especially like the last several years, it's like treating people right from the get-go and really nurturing those relationships and being an expert, but also just like caring. I think that the continued relationships with my clients are what helped me grow, because that's where the referrals come from. And when it's a hard market, people know like, oh my gosh, it's not working with your agent, like you gotta try Libby, she's awesome. So like those things mean so much to me. But I really think, I think from that side, like the client side, doing our jobs well and caring for those relationships over years pays dividends. And also just learning the systems and what different people do and what fits for you. And then definitely having help. I hired Kim, my full-time admin, has been with me 6 years, will be 7 in August, and that's helped my sanity a whole lot. Yes.
I know, I always see you writing the letters to your clients.
I dropped some off right before we came to meet. Yes. I'm big on cards because nobody gets handwritten cards. You just get junk mail. So every birthday, home anniversary, etc., you're going to get a card from me.
Okay. So in what ways has Keller Williams supported you as your business has evolved over the years?
Yeah, that's a great question. I love that there's so many different agents here, even at our office, that are doing things like there's different models you can follow, different people you can talk to. And it's like, okay, if you were at the team meeting yesterday, it's like, oh my gosh, if you want to grow YouTube, like you got to watch Kelly's and talk to her and like get that. And if you want to do, like FSBOs and expireds, there's a person to talk to for that. So I feel like, but I think from as I have grown, there's just a lot of opportunity here. And I know for me personally, like being a part of even like outside of the office, like the bigger KW network, I've been in MAPS coaching a couple times, which was super helpful in those seasons when I really needed the coaching. I've been a part of Gary Keller's top 200 agent mastermind. I'm back in it this year. So I think like there's always, not only within our office, but within Keller Williams as a whole, there's just so many different people and models of success that you can look to and, figure out, okay, how can I take that and make it me and make it work for me?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I love like everyone's so willing to help.
Totally. I think that's like a huge part of the culture of our office is people want to see you do well.
I love like after someone talks at a meeting, like how Kelly spoke, and then afterwards, like they will just sit there and let you ask questions. Like they're not like, oh, no paparazzi. Like,
right.
They're like, yes, please talk to me.
Right. It's like we do this because we know that people have helped us to get to where we are, and it's like we want to do the same thing for others, for sure.
So what tools, systems, or resources at Keller Williams have made the biggest difference for you?
Gosh, that's a good question. I would say like really learning how to treat it like a job has made the biggest difference. And that was like from day one. So it's like some of those habits I started from Ignite, including like the handwriting cards. I just never stopped, and most people stopped, but like I just didn't stop. And then really like I think it kind of surprises people, but like I am unless I'm physically on an appointment, I'm in the office from 9 till at least 2:30. I mean, I sometimes go home, pick up kids from school, and like keep working at home, but I'm here at least 4, if not 5 days a week. So it's like treating it like a job, doing the systems, like doing the calling through your database with Alphabet, having the events. Like there's so many of those things that I learned at KW, and yes, they've evolved as my business has, grown and changed, and I don't have as much time like as I used to have, but I really think a lot of those core systems I learned here and I've just kind of kept on with.
That's awesome. Building good habits.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. So how have you been able to scale your business while remaining an individual agent?
Yeah, that is huge. I think that's what has been like so fun. I remember like last year was my best year as far as like the GCI volume, but I didn't have my best number of transactions was several years ago, and I did 59, I think, and it like about killed me. And I realized I don't want to do it that way again. So I think you get to these parts where you have to break through. You realize, oh my gosh, I'm like stressing myself out and miserable, but there's always options. Like you're doing that to yourself. So how can you? And I think you get to a point where it's like, okay, well, probably the answer is people. So again, I mentioned Kim already. She's been with me 6-7 years, but she was part-time for a period and full-time. But she's even like done different things for me in that time. We kind of figure out, okay, here's what I need the most help with. And then I think the other person that has like changed my life for the better is my showing assistant. She's been with me since 2022. She doesn't show every single house, but I really try to make my family not hate me. So it's a balance between I want the relationship with the clients, and there's nothing like, it's so easy to build a relationship when you're showing them the houses. So I want to do that, but I also want to be there for bedtime. I want to be there for baseball games. I don't want to work every night and every weekend. So having somebody that I can really trust to help with showings has been the leverage piece that has made me a lot more sane and be able to, close 50 homes without feeling like I'm gonna pull my hair out.
And that's so important.
Yeah. I'm finding it. One of my goals this year is to find time for a hobby, because especially as like mom to 3 young kids and a job that like literally you're on call, like you're always, so it's like the time for me is the part that I'm working on this year. So yeah, including tomorrow is my very first day of doing this, but I'm gonna have 1 day off per quarter that is during the week when my kids are in school. So it's like, it's not just like a mom day off, it's like fully me, and try to find time for hobbies, go out to lunch with a friend, not to talk business, but just to like catch up. Well, tomorrow it's my husband, but yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
What role has mentorship or collaboration played in your success at Keller Williams?
Oh my gosh, so much. From like a brand new agent, literally I had my second child was 6 months old when I got licensed, and I remember being in Ignite and like trying to figure out like the schedule, and we had this break, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was still breastfeeding, and I was like, I've got a pump, I don't know who do I, and Liz Cohen was teaching, and she was like, girl, here are my office keys, go, it's fine, no worries, I was there, it's fine, and she's like, here's my number, call me if you need a babysitter. But like that is just like the culture of our office, is people like so want to help. So not just like from being a baby agent, but also being like, okay, I mean, obviously there's the office staff to help with questions and brokers, but what I love is you have so many agents at your disposal to be like, okay, this is a situation I've never dealt with, and call Heather Abernathy, be like, okay, have you dealt with this? And she's like, oh my gosh, you know who you need to call? Miriam just did a deal like that, talk to her. It's like that collaboration and being able to really like figure out, like, I'm in a situation I've never been in before, which is all the time. That's what keeps the job fun. But I love that there's always people that are willing to collaborate and help. And definitely as I was newer, I feel like I had several mentors who really helped me figure out all of these things. So I love to, again, try to give back. And, I don't know if I'm really a mentor to anybody, but I want to give back to the office as much as I feel like I've received. It's like, okay, help other people take that next step.
What do you think that Keller Williams does especially well for agents who want that long-term sustainable success?
Yeah, I would say just like the examples. And I love that, like I have different friends at different brokers and, love different people at different brokerages. But when I like meet them for coffee of like, okay, what's going on in your business? How's this going? And I mentioned a thing like, okay, well, your P&L. And they're like, huh? And I'm like, okay, I mean, obviously with a new agent, you're not going to have everything figured out, right? Nobody expects that. But if you're building a business, you need to know, what is my ROI on this event? And maybe I should do something different because it was really expensive, but I didn't see business come from it. So I think that Keller Williams, what they do so well is really, if you're wanting to learn the tools of how to actually build a sustainable and profitable business, because we are business owners. So there's very few other places that really think like that and train agents to think like that. So I think that's one of the huge differences that I see is, again, not that everybody at Keller Williams is perfect at it, but just there are the tools here to learn how to actually think about it as a business. And when do you hire people and how do you hire people? I would have never known how to, and I got amazingly lucky with Kim, but I put her through the ringer. I did the whole career visioning process with her. It was a lot, but at the end of the day, I knew with like such confidence that she was going to be the right fit. And here she is like 7 years later. So I think that Keller Williams has those tools that other brokerages just don't have.
And this is kind of off topic, but I know that you plan your like whole marketing like a year ahead. How do you go through that? How do you manage that? What's that?
Yeah, a lot of it is now like, of course, recycling. Okay, this worked this year, and then tweaking. Like it's never the exact same year to year, but it's a lot of the same structure. And a lot of it is, R&D, rip off and duplicate. You hear somebody else do a thing, and like Carrie Coulter's back in the day. I remember the first time she was like, oh yeah, thanks a latte. I just am at a coffee shop and I pay for people's coffee. And I was like, brilliant. And that was like early on. So I've done it every year. Although this is the first year I've realized, okay, instead of just I do a lot of these like happy hours and kind of more generic events, which I love because I can invite everybody to it. But this year I'm like, okay, I really want to give back more to my like core people who are sending me the most business. How do I offer the most value to those people? So I kind of polled them, and it was like a large group of women of like, what do you want to do? So this year I'm doing, and I gave them a couple ideas, but yeah, I'm actually doing 2 events, but we're learning how to play Mahjong with one group who really wanted to learn how to play. And then the other group is like, we want to learn how to do sourdough. So I'm learning both of those things in early February instead of so it was just like, okay, finger on the pulse. What do I want to do? What do these people want to do? So that's so it's a lot of tweaking, but yes.
Okay. How has your definition of success changed since starting your career?
I love that question. Gosh, that's such a good one. I feel like, to put it in perspective, I came from the nonprofit world. So I've always worked hard. I just used to not make very much money, and I always work hard for not much money. And money is not everything, but it does give you options. And that's something that when you're making $40,000 a year, especially supporting a family of 4 on $40,000 a year, you don't have the privilege of being able to think outside of just like survival, really. So I think that when I first started, success was measured by like, oh my gosh, if I can just like not have to pinch every penny at the grocery store, and just be able to breathe, like that'd be incredible. And now it's like at the point where I'm like, okay, now success is being able to sell as many houses as I want to sell, but still being there for my kids. It's not every day that I'm off the bus with them, but it's like those moments of I want to show them, hey, here's how you can work hard and you can build this thing for yourself, but also like I'm present and I'm not always choosing my work over them. Because I think in those first few years, it's just a lot of hustle, and it's just hard not to. And not that I don't have the hustle anymore, but I think the success has shown like, okay, success might also be having those core memories made and like saying yes to the trip. That's like, and not just like, oh, work's too crazy, I can't get away. So I think of that, of like time with them is success, but also while also building this business. And I might not sell as many houses, and I might not lead this huge team of people, but like I feel good that I'm giving them the best service to my people and also showing up for my kids. And it's like I kind of at the point now where I'm like, I'm okay if I don't grow every year. I've kind of like, if I can sustain what I have and also be present for the people that are most important to me, like that is success, and I feel good. And I am constantly working, but I'm getting better at having more leverage in those moments where I can be off and not, the brain can slow down a little bit. So I think that's kind of my new measure of success, where I didn't see it that way when I was starting, just because it's like, got to grind through a little bit.
It is the first bit is always because you're like, am I going to be good at this?
Yeah.
Is this something that I can do? And like
100%.
seeing the results afterwards, like solidifies
sure.
forward, like, okay.
That's what I tell agents is like,
in.
It's just an impossibly hard job for the first 2 years. You just have to do it. You're gonna hear more no's than yeses, and it's just so hard. And then if you do the right habits, all of a sudden year 3, your phone sometimes rings, and you're like, God, people are calling me now, and that's because you've planted those seeds and you've done that work, and you're still gonna work hard, but it's like, you get a lot more yeses starting in like year 3. If you can just hold on and push through, it does become a little bit more fun years 3 and on, I think, in my experience.
What advice would you give to an agent who wants to grow without necessarily forming or joining a team?
Oh, for sure. There's so many ways to do it. I think first you have to, like, if you're trying to grow, you first have to get your systems down, right? Like, and some of us are not system people, but it's going to make your life easier. And because I remember being like, oh, I don't have to write that down or do a recurring task for this thing. I'm going to remember. You're not going to remember, because you're going to get to a point where you're going on so many appointments that it's like, if you don't have the system, your brain's not going to just be like, oh, by the way, you need to follow up with that person that you met with in early December. You're just not going to remember. So it's like having those systems down early will help you like be able to breathe and think. And you will get to a point where the answer will be a person. And that doesn't always mean like hire your own admin. It might mean doing a VA. It might be doing, getting a TC. But at some point, the best gift to yourself will be growing by people. And even if you don't want to have a huge team, like before you ever think of a buyer's agent or anything like that, or even showing assistant, you probably need an admin to help with the vast amounts of paperwork that you're maybe ignoring and maybe not doing, and putting together that P&L for you, because you're like, I can't do that. Well, that's great. There's somebody else that can. So I think that really it's thinking through, and a lot of times people ask me like, okay, well, how do you figure out what your admin will even do? Take a week and just like with a pad of paper, write down every time you're doing a task that you think you could train somebody to do 80% as well as you're doing, and write it down. And then don't even edit at all. Then you go through after a week and go, wow, this is like 4 pages long. So then you edit of like, okay, yeah, this can be done by somebody else. And what are the things that you want to get off your plate the most? And then you highlight those, and all of a sudden you have a job description. Like, it's not going to be the same person to person what their admin or staff does. It's more of just like, what do you need in your life that's going to free you up to be in front of people more, to get more business by developing deeper relationships. So, yeah.
That's a very good point, because truly, you don't have to do everything. You don't have to do everything, but coming from someone that likes to do everything.
Yeah. Well, and that's like the hard part as an agent. Until you hire somebody else, you do have to do everything until you hire somebody else to do it. Like, you are your own admin until you hire an admin. You are your own TC until you hire a transaction coordinator. So it's like, we do have all of these hats, but we don't have to keep them forever. We can give some parts away, and your clients don't actually suffer for it,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so looking ahead, what excites you most about the future of your business at Keller Williams?
That's such a good question. I feel like I'm at this place that it's refreshing to me in a way, but I'm not really looking to like, I'm going to grow 100%, or like, I want to get to this place. It's really more of, I really just want to sustain what I'm doing, and hopefully in a way where I feel like I am able to have a little bit of time for me and slow down and be there for my kids. So it's like, I think my future really looks very similar to what I'm doing now. And if I can keep this pace and find a little bit of time so I'm not burning out for me for 10 more years, and then I can like slow down a little bit more. And maybe there is a future within Keller Williams where I'm teaching more and mentoring more. Like, I would love that. It's just not like this phase. It's like, yes, come along with me and do it. And then maybe in my future, I'll have more time to truly slow down my business and ramp more of that up, but not yet.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually I could see it.
Is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you think that it would be important for me or other agents to know?
No, I mean, I really think that you have to, I think one thing that we haven't touched on, and we do talk about this as an office is a lot, but it really is figuring out your big why and knowing that that can and will shift. My first big why was like, I got to get out of this apartment, like I have to buy a house. But then it's like, okay, that's done. You have to pivot and be like, why am I working so hard? What is it all for? And I think you're balancing that big why, and then also knowing when is enough, because I am that person that's naturally going to push. But I think the biggest gift to yourself is like, okay, this is enough, and I'm going to, define this and be okay with this being enough. So I think those two balances, always having that in your mind. Like, I do a little vision board every year. It's in my office. I look at it every day of like, this is what I'm working for. I'm working for, being able to take that trip to Canada in the fall with my husband. I'm working for, XYZ. So I think that having those in your mind is going to help push through, because the job isn't always fun, but it's like, this is my why. This is what I'm doing. And at some point it's going to be like, I can tell this person's going to be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and I'm going to say no, because enough is enough. And I deserve to say no sometimes. So I think having those both in mind is helpful.